The rain fell hard over the dusty streets of the small town of San Aurelio, a place that had always held more secrets than inhabitants. Clara Mendez, a 28-year-old single mother, hurried along carrying a bag with stale bread and her son Tomas's jacket. Tomas, a restless 7-year-old, was waiting for her at home. That morning, like every morning, she had gone out to work cleaning other people's houses while Tomas went to school. But the storm forced her to take a shortcut along a rural road where few people ever passed. It was there that she saw something that made her stop cold. A few meters away, under the downpour, she distinguished a trembling figure. As she approached, her heart began beating faster. It was an elderly woman, soaked, with her hands and ankles tied to a wooden post. Her white hair clung to her face, and her eyes, though tired, were still alert, pleading, "Ma'am." Clara whispered, unable to believe what she was seeing. The old woman slowly lifted her gaze. "Child, please, help me," she managed to say with a trembling voice. Clara dropped her bag and ran toward her. Her hands trembled as she fought to undo the knots. "Who did this to you? Who could be so cruel?" "My own family." The woman answered, and Clara felt her stomach twist. When she finally freed her, the old woman nearly collapsed, but Clara caught her. "Thank you. My name is Rosa," she whispered. Clara helped her stand. Despite her fragility, there was a silent dignity in her, like a woman life had tried to break but never fully succeeded. "Come with me. I can't leave you out here in the cold." Rosa tried to protest, but she had no strength left, so Clara took her, almost carrying her, to a small wooden house on the edge of the town. When Tomas saw them enter, his eyes widened. "Mom, who is she? What happened to her?" "A friend who needs help," Clara replied as she settled Rosa next to the stove. The boy, curious but kind-hearted, ran to bring a blanket. Rosa warmed her trembling hands. For a moment she said nothing, as if speaking would make the horror she had lived become real again. Clara made tea. She didn't have much, but it was what she could offer. When the old woman took the first sip, she sighed. "Thank you, child. I don't know how to repay you." "Don't worry. What happened?" Clara asked. Rosa closed her eyes for a few seconds. "My family thinks I'm crazy, that I'm worthless. My son and my daughter-in-law." Her voice cracked. "They say I'm a burden. Today they said I needed to learn not to meddle in their affairs, and they dragged me to the post." Clara felt anger, an anger she knew too well. She too had been rejected, abandoned by Tomas's father, and by her own family when they learned she was pregnant. "No one deserves that," Clara replied, fighting back tears. Rosa looked at her with a mix of shame and gratitude. "I know I seem like nothing but a useless old woman, but I'm not crazy. I keep a secret my family wants hidden, something that, if revealed, would change everything." Clara leaned closer. "What secret?" Rosa glanced at Tomas, who was listening from the table, and asked Clara to speak alone. The boy obeyed and went to the small bedroom. The old woman took a deep breath. "My son has been stealing money from the community fund, a lot of money. I found the documents and tried to report him. That's why they punish me. He's afraid I'll talk." Clara felt chills. The community fund was the only thing keeping the school, the medical center, and even the small soup kitchen running. "Do you have proof?" Clara asked. Rosa nodded. "It's hidden. If you help me recover it, I can bring justice, not for me, but for everyone." Clara knew getting involved could bring her trouble. She was a single mother, vulnerable, with no support, but she also knew someone had to stop this, and she might be the only person Rosa had left. "I'll help you," she finally said. Rosa took her hand with unexpected strength. "You're a good woman, Clara." That same night, once the rain had calmed, Clara accompanied the old woman to her former home, a beautiful large property that contrasted with the neglect she lived in. Rosa entered through a side door that was always left unlocked. "The proof is in the attic," she whispered. The house was silent, but Clara walked with her heart pounding. They went up the stairs carefully. At the top, Rosa pointed to a wooden trunk. Clara opened it. Inside were folders, official seals, bank documents, and receipts with forged signatures. "My God," she whispered, but before she could gather them, they heard footsteps. "Mom!" A man's voice called from downstairs. Rosie turned pale. "It's my son. We have to hide." Clara switched off the flashlight. In the darkness, her heart pounded against her ribs. The steps grew closer, climbing the staircase. Every creak was like a sentence. Clara grabbed the documents, hid them under her shirt, and gently pulled Rosa into an old wardrobe. They closed the door just as the hallway light switched on. "I know you're here, you nosy old woman." The man snarled. Rosa trembled. Clara held her tightly. He searched the attic but did not open the wardrobe. After several agonizing minutes, he left, slamming the door. Clara didn't breathe until she heard the car start outside. "We have to go," she whispered. They rushed down the stairs and left through the same entrance. When they reached Clara's house, both were exhausted, but triumphant. They had recovered the truth. The next day, Clara took the documents to Commissioner Ramirez, an honest man who had long suspected the community fund was being drained. When he saw the proof, his expression hardened. "This is enough to put him in prison," he said. Rosa, silent until then, began to cry. "I never wanted my son to end up like this, but I can't allow more harm." The commissioner took her hand. "You did the right thing, Mrs. Rosa." That same afternoon, her son and daughter-in-law were arrested. The whole town was in shock. Many had believed the lies the man had spread about his mother, but when the local newspapers published the story of the embezzlement, people changed their view. For the first time in years, Rosie didn't walk with her head down. Meanwhile, Clara returned to her routine, but with a new brightness in her eyes. She had done something brave, something that would change the future of the town and the lives of many children, including Tomas. A week later, Rosa arrived at the little house with a timid smile. "Clara, I've been thinking. I'd like to live with you and Tomas if you'll have me. I don't want to go to a nursing home, and I don't want to be alone anymore." Clara felt her heart tighten. "Of course you can stay. This will always be your home." Rosa hugged her tightly, like a grandmother who had finally found family. Months passed, and life took an unexpected turn. The community, grateful for Clara's courage, organized a campaign to help her. They found her a better job, expanded her house, and donated clothes and supplies for Tomas. Clara could hardly believe it. After years of suffering and loneliness, she finally felt she belonged somewhere. And Rosa, once treated like a burden, found in Clara and Tomas a home she had never imagined. She became the grandmother the boy never had, the confidant Clara always needed. The old woman often said, "The strongest chains aren't the ones on the outside, but the ones others make us believe we must carry." Clara smiled every time she heard it, because together they had broken them all. Because together they had saved not only their lives, but the dignity of an entire town.